Hello, this is Luvfreeness and iLive 24-hour radiothon for ACLT. I'm Jairzinho of Luvfreeness, and this is Beverley Gale and Orin Lewis, co-founders of the ACLT African Caribbean Leukaemia Trust. And it's been approximately 2 years since we last interviewed. It was about the time when your organisation needed £80,000 to stop it from closing.
Yeah.
Right. And thanks to everybody, that's you people out there as well, who got behind the ACLT and done fantastic fundraising, you managed to actually supersede that £80,000, yeah?
That's correct.
All good. I just want to recap, guys. To the benefit of anyone who's tuned in right now, and personally I find it hard to believe that anybody that tuned in doesn't know about the ACLT, but I'm sure there are people out there, and I want you to briefly tell them what the ACLT is.
Okay. The ACLT is the African Caribbean Leukaemia Trust. Mm-hmm. Charity was started in 1996, which was 3 years after our son Daniel was diagnosed with leukemia. He needed a bone marrow transplant to survive. Bone marrow matching is race specific. And back in 96, very few black people in this country, the UK, and actually around the world, had ever registered to be a potential donor for someone that needed help. And so when we was told that Daniel needed the transplant, we was also told that the chances of him finding a donor were remote because so few black people had actually registered. In fact, we was quoted 1 in a 250,000 chance of finding a donor. And so for us, being the types of people that we are, it was very clear what we needed to do. There was no way we was going to allow our son to not beat this illness. We set up the ACLT to raise awareness, recruit donors onto the world bone marrow registers in the hope that we would find Daniel a match, but also to assist other families that found themselves in the same situation.
Okay. We had this radiothon back in 2011, but you reached the target, and we know you superseded the target. Approximately what, 100 and...
It was about closing in on 123,000.
123,000
in 2.5 months, because the deadline was the end of March. We needed to raise at 80,000, but the community rallied big time. And in fact, interestingly, when we reached 100,000 figure, it was on the anniversary of what is Daniel's birthday.
Right, yeah, that was a really exciting time.
And we eventually, end of the month, we reached a figure closing in on 123,000.
Could we say pounds?
Pounds, yes. And it was, it's allowed us to carry on the work, and we're 2 years later, we're still here. It's still a struggle, but that gave us an impetus to keep pushing on.
I want to know, is there still a problem with the lack of British and Asians acting as blood and organ donors? Is there still that problem going on? Because I know up to 2 years ago, there was a lot of people that weren't willing to come forward, and they were scared because, especially within the black community, I've heard it myself firsthand. Oh, needles, I don't like needles because of whatever. It's all in the head as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, is there still that problem there?
Yeah, there's still a problem. There's a problem in all areas of donation: blood, bone marrow, organ donation. In fact, organ donation we've actually picked up as part of what we do in the last 18 months or so. And it's been very interesting hearing the community's views on this subject matter, because actually we're talking about donating a part of you when you are no longer here. But for some reason there are some huge myths and fears within not just the black community, the Asian community as well, about this subject matter, concerns about not being whole when they move over, and not wanting to go either 6 foot down or to be cremated without their bits.
It's really important to get them at the starting point of, especially at sixth form level, 16, 17, 18, as they're just about to go into the wider society to build their own domain, legacies, and do fantastic things in their own life. But if they, on the subject matter of helping someone who needs a life-saving transplant, and if they've got all those myths and fears and taboos which have been handed down to them from their parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, cousins, friends, if that prevails in their mind, then they're just going to regurgitate the same problem,
things, yeah.
and the problem will keep getting bigger and bigger in those communities.
Itself,
and so what we do at the schools and colleges and university level is break down all the myths and fears and taboos, come back with the facts, and then leave it with them to actually make an informed decision.
So what sort of paraphernalia have you got out there at the present moment, showing people what's going on?
Well, I mean, we have information and forms, in terms of literature, very hard-hitting Heroes Wanted poster, which highlights a young man.
You can see that, guys.
A young man, and you can't see his face, but he represents, he's a b-boy, he represents music and highlighting, well, he's inside, he's actually a superhero, and he's highlighting whether you're a b-boy or you wear a hoodie or you from the clerical or whatever, a Muslim lady, you can represent what's in your heart and soul to say, actually, I'm almost like a superhero, and I want to save the world one life at a time.
Donate for Daniel. Check out the website, as Orin is showing you right here, www.aclt.org. Also available at the same www.aclt 24-hour radiothon. Okay, all the information is going to be on the website, so you can check that out. Another thing that myself and Jason Henry at iLive was really going over, because how this radiothon is actually taking place is, as you know, in two halves. Here in London, we're going to be doing the first 12 hours, and the second half is over in Canada. We're not sure, we haven't seen anything by the looks of it. There's nothing set up overseas, or is there? Or are you considering actually doing a donor register overseas?
Do you mean ACLT overseas?
ACLT over the United States or over in Canada, anywhere else?
Well, we have actually done one or two initiatives, especially in Ghana.
Okay.
We went to Ghana, myself and Beverley actually went to Ghana December 2005, and actually did a series of drives after a lot of publicity on the national media in the capital, Accra, on behalf of a UK Ghanaian resident. And we did the drives, and we actually had to call London, back in London, the registry, and say, please send us more supplies, because demand to help this young man was so strong that instead of coming back with 300 samples to be tested on behalf of this individual, we came back with more than double, 700, nearly 800.
Wow.
And it showed that if you're going to a country like Ghana, where there's a culture of donating blood especially, you have a fighting chance, but we want to be able to replicate that in other countries, especially in the Caribbean, where there is no registry. It's a fighting battle, because the mass media in Canada, for example, doesn't really highlight the need for people to come forward across the main community, let alone ethnic minorities.
When we put this together to the people of Canada, they thought it was just a UK, London thing maybe, or not so much London, but just a UK thing.
Right.
And they're willing to help and participate and support it by any means necessary, but they're not actually seeing it as, it's their problem to them, and it definitely
is, because if we put someone on the bone marrow register over here, it's going to try and help someone of the same ethnicity anywhere around the world, including Canada, and vice versa. Someone joins in Montreal and joins the Canadian registry, could help someone in the hospital in London.
Indeed.
Of the same ethnicity.
But there's not enough being done to raise the awareness as in the UK and US, Europe and other places.
Indeed.
So they really need to be doing a lot more.
But we are quite unique, because there isn't an equivalent ACLT in Canada, not even in America.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, but this is part of the grand plan, having a fantastic effect on a huge scale for black and mixed race people around the world.
Indeed.
And we've got a film project that's going to come out in October about something to do with our skin color and watch this space.
Yeah, I've seen something like that on the website. Do check that out.
You'll probably see a little trailer called About My Black Skin.
Yeah.
And it's very powerful messages from celebrities about their skin and why they feel proud to be black. And we've got an event that will launch it in the public domain. We'll
definitely be putting a link up for that so the listeners can actually tune into that one. First Beverley in October 2011.
Yes.
And then you, Orin, on the New Year's Honours List. What am I talking about? Both receiving the Officer of Order of the British Empire Award. I can't say that I'm surprised, all right, that you both received it. But I'm more joyous, appreciative, and let's say satisfied that after the 17 long, hard-working, no sleeping, positive thinking years that you've taken to get to this place today, that it hasn't gone unnoticed, not even to the head of state. What does this actually mean to the both of you?
It's an honour, first of all. It's great that all of the work that we've done, as you highlighted, sleepless, tremendous amount of work that was going on, I suppose really behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Since the very day that we walked into Great Ormond Street Hospital to discuss the fact that Daniel had relapsed for the first time, and then being told he had a 1 in a quarter million chance of finding a donor, I don't think we ever from that moment really kind of dropped the baton at any time. We just picked it up and just kept running, and for it to be recognised by our British royal family has meant that people in the know that we need to be talking to, it has made them more appreciative of what we're doing, opened hopefully doors. For me, that's the really important things about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, we're only in this position because our son was diagnosed with cancer. And if you could spin the clock back and it never had to happen, obviously you would give it all back.
Understood.
And so now having Daniel no longer being with us and to get that honour, I know he would be smiling.
Oh, yeah.
I know he'd be very proud, and he'd be making some little jokes with us about the whole thing. Probably asking where's his. But no, it has opened doors. It's allowed us to meet some very interesting people, and our hope is that it will hold us in good stead with the charity to take it further, bring in more funds to allow us to continue the work, and ultimately save more lives.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And yourself?
For me, it was and it still is a very bittersweet situation, because as Beverley highlighted, you'd swap an award like an OBE if you could. If someone says Daniel OBE, you say it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, no-brainer.
Yeah,
of course.
But it's an, as Beverley said, it's an honor that's been bestowed on us as a recognition of the backbreaking and tireless work that we've had to put in to educate and inform our community around the world and the wider community of, we actually, our community can, when we get together, we can actually do amazing things. We just happen to be at the forefront of this message, of this journey, and we wear it. We have wide shoulders to carry the load, and for me, it's a case of hopefully the award will show people of influence, whether it be political, medical, the social world and the media world, that we are on the top table to be taken seriously, and everybody counts. Our community mustn't feel inferior to anyone else, and this is what we try to highlight, what we do, that the award shows we're at the top table, and we can inspire not only our own people, but inspire everybody that this is what you can achieve against the odds.
Tell them.
You only have to look across the border at what Barack Obama has proven, that anything's achievable, you know, and we're of that same ilk, and don't let your expectations fall down. Aim as high as anyone else. Aim higher than anyone else, and go for that achievement, because that's what we've done. We've done it against the most hardest situation in terms of life and death, especially with your loved one. And despite all that, we've pushed on, and we've ultimately done the greatest thing in existence. We've saved lives and given the gift of life through being the messengers. And the award is recognition of that, but it's not a case of stopping, it's a case of pushing on. And it's the same with the individuals. You get to that top tier, you push on, and the thing you never forget is to make sure you hand the baton back or the ladder back down to pull others up to your level. Yeah. And that's what we want to do, because if we're strong as a group in numbers, we can achieve so much.
These are two very ordinary people that has achieved some miraculous stuff within their life, all because of Daniel to Gale. All right, so what we need you to do out there today, right now, is go online. You know what the website is. This is right underneath us right here. Check that out. Log on and donate, okay, and spread the word, okay? We'll be sending you loads of paraphernalia. Anybody else that wants to know more what's happening, as I said before, it's www.aclt.org. Okay? All right. Listen, I want to thank you both for allowing me your precious time today, and it's a privilege and it's an honor to help the African Caribbean Leukemia Trust, getting donors on the register and everything else that we do, okay? I know that Jason Henry over at iLive in Canada, I know he echoes my sentiments, and he sends his regards as well, okay?
Can we just say from the charity, thanks very much for everything that you're doing.
And thank you.
Yes, thank you, public, for registering. If you haven't registered, why haven't you registered? Go to the website, as Jairzinho saying, and just get the information.
I'm Jairzinho Morris. They are Beverley the Gale and Orin Lewis, OBE. And this is the ACLT 24-hour Radiothon.